Welcome, grade 9. This is Mrs. Arabi Masangkay, your English teacher. We are going to talk about Quarter 3, Module 2. The lesson for the day is entitled Extracting Information from Argumentative and Persuasive Text. After going through this video lesson, you are expected to: Number 1, define argumentative and persuasive text. Number 2, extract important information from an argumentative and persuasive text. Expressing one's views and opinions in a diverse society may cause an argument. Some of them may agree and some of them may argue with your opinion. Indeed, you cannot please everyone, so open-mindedness is the key that would make you survive in a world of diversity. Let us, let us read this text below and tell whether the statement or the paragraph is convincing or not. Identify the claim of the writer, and then I'm going to give you some questions after this. In the middle of this pandemic, people have tried many ways, one after another, on how to contain the spread of the COVID-19 virus, as number of infected cases continue to rise. One easy and traditional way that people believe to be effective cure to COVID-19 virus infection is the practice of steam inhalation, locally known as tuob. Rappler.com reported that the employees in Cebu provincial government were instructed to do steam inhalation twice a day at their own workplaces as part of their wellness program. This action serves as their means to battle against the virus. However, this action by the Office of the Governor of Cebu was opposed by WHO Philippines, telling that the steam inhalation will not prevent one from catching COVID-19. They further elaborated that extremely hot steam can be harmful because of the risk of getting burn injury. Also, they pointed out that science and evidence must be sought in fighting this virus. They clarified that as to date, there is no recommended treatment or vaccine for COVID-19 yet. Moreover, they even warned people against self-medicating and using unverified treatments to patients with COVID-19 until there is enough evidence. There is no evidence up to present that can attest the efficacy of this inhalation practice in relation to COVID-19. We must not put our health at risk by trying practices not recommended by experts in order to avoid physical health consequences. What do you think is the claim of this text? Do you think that this is an example of argumentative text? Why or why not? Of what is an argumentative text, let us first discuss what is an argument. An argument is a reason or set of reasons given with the aim of persuading others that an action or idea is right or wrong. When we say argument, this is giving reasons why somebody has to agree with your opinion or idea. Is an argumentative text. Argumentative text is used when you are arguing for or against a claim, or when you are trying to persuade someone to agree with your point of view. It does not just present information, but also shows the pros and cons of an issue. So when we say argumentative text, this is a text wherein we use to argue for or against a claim and trying to convince somebody or someone to agree with our point of view. And also, we present information as well as pros and cons of an issue. Extract an information from an argumentative text, you must be able to note the supporting and opposing opinions about an issue. And here are the parts of an argumentative text that we should be able to know or identify. The first one is introduction. Introduction should engage the readers by using hook, which is a sentence that captures reader's attention. Contains the thesis statement at the last sentence, which is clearly worded statement telling the readers exactly what the writer intends to do in the essay. So in this introduction, it should be a sentence that gets the attention of the reader. Next, number 2 is body. Body contains paragraphs or supporting details, evidences such as articles, studies, statistics. Explains why the evidences are worthwhile. Each body paragraph should begin with a topic sentence which clearly states the purpose of the paragraph. So in the body part of the argumentative text, we can find here the supporting details, such as the evidences of the claim. This could be an article, studies, or statistics supporting the claim of an argument. Next is rebuttal. Contains paragraphs of objections or opposing views about the claim, explains and proves why a counter-argument is wrong, and sums up problems with the counter-arguments. So a while ago, we said that in order for us to extract information from an argumentative text, we should know the supporting and opposing details. So in this rebuttal, it contains the objections or opposing views about the claim. This explains and proves why the counter-argument is wrong, sums up problems with the counter-argument. And the last part of an argumentative text is the conclusion. This restates the main points, leaves a strong information on the reader by ending on a clenching statement. So later on, we will be discussing one by one this part based from the example that we have read a while ago about the claim of 2-ob as one cure for COVID-19. That is the claim. So let us identify one by one which one is the introduction, body, rebuttal, and conclusion. Therefore, in extracting information from an argumentative text or paragraph, we should look for the following. Number 1, claim or argument. This states the position in relation to the topic. What is the claim or what is the argument that is being presented in that paragraph or text? Number 2, data or evidences. These support the claim with a fact, statistic, quote, percentage, etc., and cite where that information came from. Okay, after looking for the claim, we should have the data or evidences that supports the claim. Next is warrant. Warrant, this explains why or how the evidence data support the claim. This typically 2 to 3 sentences in length. So warrant, this explains why or how the evidence or data support the claim. Next is the counter-argument. This states a logical counterclaim. It uses language to show that there is a conflicting viewpoint. Example, we have although, even though, despite, however, in contrast. So counter-argument, this is the logical of the counterclaim. This is the opposing detail about the claim or an argument that wanted to be proven. Next is rebuttal. This presents data and analysis to discredit or prove the counterclaim is weak. And the last is conclusion statement. It restates or summarizes the main points. So therefore, when we are going to look for the information from an argumentative text, we should look for the following. Again, we have claim or argument, data or evidences, warrant, counter-argument, rebuttal, and conclusion. So let us take a look at this example. So this is the information extracted from the argumentative text that we have read a while ago. So let us look for the claim. So the claim here is there is no evidence up to present time that can attest the efficacy of this inhalation practice in relation to COVID-19. So this is the claim. But what is the counter-argument? Employees in Cebu provincial government were instructed to do steam inhalation at their own workplaces as part of their wellness program and became their means to battle COVID-19. So since the claim is there is no evidence at the present time that can attest that inhalation can cure COVID-19, then the counter-argument is this. There are employees in Cebu provincial government that uses steam inhalation as their part of means to battle COVID-19. Now, what are the data or evidences? First one, WHO Philippines said that hot steam can be harmful because of the risk of getting burn injury. Number two, science and evidence must be sought in fighting COVID-19 virus. Number three, there is no recommended treatment or vaccine for COVID-19 yet. And number four, people must avoid self-medicating and using unverified treatments to patients with COVID-19. So these are the data or evidences that support the claim. Again, what is the claim? The claim is there is no evidence up to the present time that can attest the efficacy of inhalation practice in relation to COVID-19. So these are the data or evidences. And the last part that we are going to look if we are going to extract information from an argumentative text, we should try to look for the conclusion. So the conclusion is we must not put our health at risk by trying practices not recommended by experts in order to avoid physical health consequences. This is how you are going to extract information from an argumentative text. We should look first for the claim, counter-argument, data evidences, and also the conclusion. So let us now have persuasive text. A persuasive paragraph tries to convince the reader that a particular point of view is worthy of consideration. It wants you to consider both sides of an issue, but it reveals a bias in favor of one side over another. Facts may be presented in support of a position, but the writer is not being objective. The point of view is subjective. In this persuasive text, the role of the writer is to convince the reader about his own point of view and does not take into consideration what are the facts about that certain issue. So the writer here is not being objective but subjective. On the other end, in analyzing persuasive text, you have to, number one, identify the issue. When you're identifying the issue, praising something as a question can often help you clearly state what is being argued over. So the first one is to identify what is the issue. Number two, identify the contention. When we say contention, this is an assertion, especially one maintained in argument. Contention is simply another word of point of view or opinion. Read the piece of persuasive writing carefully. What does the writer believe? Starting the sentence with a word that can help you identify the writer's opinion. So when we say contention, this is the point of view or opinion of the writer himself. In extracting important information from a persuasive text, readers must learn to figure out if the writer uses ethos, fatus, and logos in persuading. Number one, we have ethos is a way of convincing the readers that the writer is a credible source. So in ethos, the writer proves to the reader that has a credible source of his point of view. Number two, Fatus is a way of connecting with the reader's emotion. So in Fatus, this is the way of connecting with the emotions of the reader. And the Logos is the use of facts, information, statistics, and other evidence to make I hope, guys, that this time you are able to identify what is the difference between argumentative and persuasive text. When we say argumentative text, there is a claim of the writer that has an evidences or data that supports his claim, while persuasive text is only based from the opinion and point of view of the writer and trying to persuade his or her reader to believe in his or her point of view. As an analytical reader, you must learn to weigh how the writer persuades the readers like you. Try to scrutinize if the writer used supporting details such as arguments, examples, or descriptions that justify, explain, and develop his main points. If the arguments are mainly based on personal feelings and opinions, it is your prerogative to weigh on the things at hand. Would you be convinced through emotion and point of views alone? Or would you only be persuaded if factual evidences are presented? Remember, good readers will be more likely to believe if there are data to back up the claims. This ends our discussion for today. Thank you so much for watching.